Hello, David Hume here. Welcome to my GOAT format channel. I decided to use this theme because I think it's apropos for a GOAT format War League match, and I like the Battlefield series. Yeah. I decided to let the music play through. Hopefully it's a nice theme, I guess. I like those. I like those World War II documentaries. Very edifying. Still high production value. Made it. The series was released in the Battlefield series was released in 1994. I think it's well worth your time to watch some of them. I mean, aside from me shilling the series and recommending it, I will analyze a GOAT format War League match I had with my esteemed opponent, GyomberMan. As a shout out to him, I want to thank him because he allowed me to play this match on my own terms. He contacted me. He initially wanted to play this match on like Monday morning at my time, but I was depressed. I was very despondent. I was not in an appropriate psychological state, and he was considerate. He let me duel on my own terms at a later date, and fortunately for myself, I was able to duel in, in without being encumbered by the despondency. So I want to thank him for being an honorable opponent. As for the context, my team is the free agents. We're facing the Pigpen. I don't know how they came up with that name, but it's a cool name, I guess. Unfortunately, our team is like down 0-4, so this match doesn't really like count for the War League record. It may for like tiebreakers or something like that. So essentially, I am playing to avoid the sweep, and I'm like playing for honor or or to showcase my abilities or whatever. So I mean, I guess that's the background. I guess I'll just play the first duel. I win. I play Pod Greed, obviously. I decided to set Scapegoat. The obvious reason is that you do not want to put these two cards in jeopardy, and I don't know if I should summon Sacred Crane. I usually don't do that. Because it may get destroyed and you may need it. Maybe get like a Monster Gate or whatever. But that's the reason because I have Scapegoat. But I usually don't set Sacred Crane and even keep it in reserve to tribute for. I mean, I don't summon Sacred Crane. I would never. Oh crap! I would never set it because knock exists. So I decided to set Scapegoat and pass. No need to shuffle. I mean, I already shuffled anyway, but the Sora Priest, I have Scapegoat, so I decided not to activate it. Set 2. There's the option. There's no of course, there's obviously no reason to activate Scapegoat now because you don't have like a Monster Gate or anything. And you may actually. Yeah, there's no reason to. Oh. I don't know The reason why I paused is I don't know if I was like using my phase buttons properly. I said sorry because I just sort of realized that, but decided just to attack for 16. I get 16 to reduce my opponent's life points and to make any potential one-turn kill a little easier, and it goes through. Oh yeah, I decided to set these two cards because I just want one of these things to go off to get rid of the Asura Priest. I was again, I mean, I was surprised by the Asura Priest because people usually don't main deck it, and it felt like that. I mean, it just felt odd, and I mean, it just felt odd. So I mean, it doesn't feel like unusual because he could main it for whatever strategic reason. He doesn't know he's facing me. He doesn't know he's facing a Reasoning Gate deck. Maybe I don't know what sort of strategic decision why he would main deck the card, but it's not impossible. But as you see that, but as this duel is somewhat anticlimactic, and we'll see, and we'll see. I mean, if I was suspicious, we'll see how that suspicion is justified. So I mean, again, with these sending these two cards, I just don't want one of them to go off so I could kill the Asura Priest. It doesn't matter if he MSTs one. So, but yeah, I decided to set two just in case he MSTs or does tornadoes. So I could at least have one going off. It's not like I'm using one to cover the other card. I just need either one to go off. I decided to. Of course, I decided to let it go through. Swords of Revealing Light. Again, this is a very powerful card against me because unless I have like a one-turn kill, it 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 just makes Trinade. It doesn't make it makes Trinade very mediocre because the opponent could just set it, reset it again. So you need the one-turn kill in order so your opponent cannot further stall you out. I couldn't do anything, but we'll see. We'll soon see why this Swords of Revealing Light is very important. I couldn't believe my eyes, so obviously you activate Mirror Force. Very opportune. Time to kill the Asura Priest. As you can see, their opponent's response. He values his Asura Priest. Maybe he knows I'm playing Scapegoat. Maybe he knows I'm protecting it or whatever. Keeping in reserve. Obviously taking the life points is probably a good idea. But again, I mean, like I said, I drew Fusilier before, so the swords prevents me from getting rid of it. Card destruction. The major decision here is whether I should use card destruction. Obviously, Swords of Revealing Light exists, so I can't summon the Fusilier to attack and get rid of it permanently. I think I said that before, like 20 seconds ago. But yeah, I have like 3 dead cards in this current situation. So the question is whether I should card destruction. Yeah, and as for card destructioning, I don't think I chose against it, but yeah, I chose against it. And let's consider my 2 set cards. I have Book of Moon, and I have Scapegoat. None of these cards can assist or can coordinate with any potential 3 cards I draw in order to generate, in order to facilitate a kill turn or to inflict grievous amounts of damage on my opponent. These don't add anything to any assault I could muster, and I'll be discarding 3 cards. So I don't think there's a 3-card combination. I don't think there's like a 2-card combination that I could get that could that could win. Stein won't be enough. Stein and Megamorph won't be enough. Stein and Trinade won't be enough. So I think holding the card destruction is probably a good idea, which is the move I chose. and I'm gonna go show my opponent's hand to see. We're gonna just to illustrate why my opponent forfeited. He drew Gakugira Panda. He forfeited because he realized that he's playing his side deck, a sided version of his deck against Reasoning Gate when he learned that I was his opponent, and he saved the side deck as the default deck as opposed to uh, making a new deck and saying it's a different copy. Procedural mistake, fortunately. I wasn't able to capitalize. So, he just forfeits. I'm gonna go check the settings to see if the desktop audio is off, so I'll put more sound effects here. Oh, yeah. He's got the cards. I didn't do that. Who cares? Just ignore it. Again, with his hand, you have these two. I have Premature Burial and Giant Trinade. So you could probably get some magic off with using Sacred Crane, I guess. You have Heavy Storm to ensure that the Trinade and Prematures could go off. So the question here is to get this so one part is to get the Sacred Crane into the grave, so you could use these two. Megamorph may be useful eventually, but I think that's the outline of the plan. I drew Book of Moon. I don't know how useful it is. Well, I'll just... Did I? Yeah, I used phases properly. Sort of deliberating about whether to summon Sacred Crane or to set it as a bluff. Here's why I chose to summon Sacred Crane, and it's not because of the tactical merit of it. It's largely because of my opponent's mindset and my opponent reading my mind. I think I spent like a minute deliberating about whether to summon or set this card. So if this is like a Cyberjar or whatever, why would I like deliberate? I don't think. Maybe if I summon a Cyberjar, maybe I should fake it and give a fake think for like 30 seconds to sort of like envision like possible cards I could draw. But I spent like a minute summoning it, and I think that's like too long. I think spending a minute's like a tell. So that's what compelled me to just summon and attack the set card. Uh, but as for my deliberation, I I don't know what my opponent's running. He's probably like running Flip Warrior. He may be running something like a Thunder Dragon or whatever. He may have like Megamorph. So obvious. If this is a Magician of Faith, I have no way of stopping him from getting Pot of Greed. But the worst case here is that if this is a Moth, he could flip it. He could get Pot of Greed. He could tribute. He could. Oh, that's a really bad reason because he doesn't have Thunder Dragon, and But I decided to attack because if one has Thunder Dragon, then he could just tribute a Moth and get Megamorph. I think that's a bad move on my part. I mean, a bad reason on my part. But I decided to summon an attack because if your opponent has Thunder Dragon, your opponent would be able to play it. And for some reason, I didn't think about that. Yeah, I didn't. I just decided to let it go. He just let the simulation go. I said Book of Moon. Obviously, you want to protect against Snatcher or whatever. So, but that's not the worst thing in the world because I have these two, and it sort of facilitates it going off. But also, that's kind of moot because I have Heavy Storm too. opponent knows my hand. The question here is whether to go off or whether to wait. I decided to activate Premature Burial just to see what I would get. I mean, yeah, again, the reason why I had to summon because there's a skilled Dark Magician threatening my life points and the Sangan, so that's 2,900, and that, yeah, that would put me at 37 if they all hit. So that means Stein would be out. So I'm compelled to play Premature Burial. Pretty obvious. So a bad card, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, bad card's not going to contribute to any sort of offensive action that much. You want to keep in your deck. Not bad. Didn't want Visor Shock either, so I drew two tributes. Really. Decided to get the other Crane. Swords. Decided to trade for D-Mock. Didn't get any, like, good cards, except I think this is the best card I could get. So we decided to get... Well, with these combination of cards, I decided just to clear the field. There's no possibility for kill. Because my opponent has 2,900 points. 2,900 attack points worth of blockers. And it's not enough. I mean, the sort of heuristic I sort of learned is that if you have a D-Mock and a Megamorph, you just need a Jinzo, you need 2,400. So 56 plus 24 is 8,000. But I mean, I could only get this at 3,200, and the number. But my opponent has enough blockers to prevent the kill, so there's really no reason to use Megamorph. I think, yeah. I think this is the right play. This is the right play. You want to equip the United We Stand on Sacred Crane, so you're able to destroy this, and you want to attack with D-Mock with Sangan to prevent my opponent from getting it. Now, this is the mistake of the duel. This is the mistake of the match. I believe this is my best chance of winning, and I kind of forfeited it here. I play Swords of Revealing Light because I was fearing Snatch, and there's actually no reason to fear Snatch, because if my opponent could could Snatch D-Mock, it would be at 28, and this would be at 24 because United We Stand counts the number of monsters that are on my side of the field, so my opponent can't take Sacred Crane, which would, and summon a monster. It would not put it at 32. So he could. So, I mean, I don't know if I would realize that in the moment, but that's how the card works. It counts the number of monsters on my side. So she could take D-Mock and then summon a beater. So D-Mock attacking Crane would be 400, and a beater would, let's say, maybe he may have a second copy of this. He may have a breaker. So if he's attacking for 19, that's 23, and I would have 19 left. So activating Swords of Revealing Light was a mistake. And also, a thought on my mind that is irrelevant is that if I said to myself, my opponent had like Heavy Storm, it doesn't really matter because I would have lost anyway. But I don't think that's necessarily true because I would still have D-Mock to protect me. So if even my opponent used Heavy Storm to destroy this, to destroy my Sacred Crane, I would still have D-Mock. Although that could be stolen. And he could summon a beater, but that would require 3 cards. Heavy Storm, Snatch, and a beater. So it's kind of unlikely, but I shouldn't have played Swords of Revealing Light. decided to attack. I decided to attack because I don't want to use reasoning because Torrential and Mirror Force were at large, and I don't want to use Heavy Storm because it would destroy my entire field. Decided not to set these because of I mean, again, my last turn, would have used Heavy Storm? Would I used Swords of Light if it was in my hand? I think I shouldn't because my opponent doesn't have live chaos and I don't have anything snatched, so all my opponent could do is like summon a beater. I don't have, yeah, my life points aren't dangerously low. I drew a compulsory evacuation device, so yeah, I decided to use reasoning now. Before the match, I think I cited out my Fusilier for Cyberjar. Maybe I was like, I think I'm gonna play Goat control, some sort of Goat flip control deck, some like flip warrior deck, which may have Metamorphosis. So I don't think Fusilier is good against a deck that's potentially running Scapegoat. But if this were Fusilier, I would be able to pressure my opponent and may force him to use a Karibo or force him to use, well, it's a spoiler, it's set Torrential, but it is what it is. I got Cyberjar. I decided to set 2 cards just in case my opponent would draw Heavy Storm. Although in this case, then if you set 2 cards, the Sword of Light it's going to be gone soon, so it's not like you're going to lose much value from it. So if your opponent heavies, you'll just lose your Heavy Storm, which I guess just kind of sucks. But I just did that to avoid getting dust-shooted. Another thing that I didn't think about was the combination of compulsory evacuation device and Cyberjar. Whether I could send it back to my hand and then set it. Well, anyway. Opponent sets a card. I draw Call the Haunted. Yeah, it goes away. There's several things I could have done with Cyberjar. I could just put it in defense mode. I put it in defense mode and just pass, or I choose a more offensive route because I was reading the set card was a Magician of Faith, and looking at opponent's graveyard, there's a Pot of Greed, and there's also a skill Dark Magician. So, Magician of Faith could be it would make this live as Chaos Fodder. It would make a Chaos Sorcerer or Black Lizard Soldier alive. So setting it back is a way of setting my opponent back, which is why I justified the play in. Getting some damage in is okay. And what's this set card? It says 1500, 1600. I guess it must be a Y Dragon Head. That's a monster. That fits. That's those stats. It's a light machine that has 1500 attack and 1600 defense. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. So we all know what this set card is, really. Although the question is, why didn't my opponent attack with a GD Warrior Lady? Maybe he fears Snatcher or whatever. Maybe he wants me to burn like a Shinzo. Again, like I said, it's just to set my opponent back. So Chaos would not be live. The play doesn't do much, arguably, but I rationalize it for setting my opponent back. And I also have a Call the Haunted for additional follow-up next turn, and I could, if my opponent heavies, I could just chain it to get to revive Sacred Crane and get a card. Opponent sets it again. The set card was set, remained set when I had like 4 cards in hand, so I don't have to fear a trap dust shoot. So I just activated Thought. I decided to get an extra card. Maybe I could do something with Monster Gate. Yeah. So yeah, I try to get an extra card by activating Call the Haunted to get Sacred Crane to get an extra card and another body on the field. I have Jinzo, so my opponent's at 3,100. I mean, my previous rationale for using compulsory evacuation device was to set back a potential Moth, to set back a potential Magician of Faith, to deny my opponent of getting Pot of Greed, and to prevent my opponent from putting a Dark in the grave. So that's why I tribute summon the Sacred Crane, which Sacred Crane is connected to Call the Haunted with Visor Shock. And if we read Call the Haunted, it says when that monster is destroyed, that monster refers to the monster pronoun, the monster of adjective refers to the monster that's revived by Call the Haunted, which is Sacred Crane. So, but we are attributing that monster, we're attributing the Sacred Crane, so it is not destroyed, it remains on the field, targeting nothing. And I used one of my giant Trinades, and I have 3. There were 3 in the deck, so 2 are at large, so I could potentially get some value from it, which is why I attributed Sacred Crane. Although I don't know if that's I'm telling you why I did it. Although arguably it's probably better to keep a 1600 attack point monster instead of valuing a potential card. I don't know what the right play is, but let's think about it that way. If it's successful, if I attributed the Cyber Jar, I mean anything that gets Sacred Crane off the field would destroy, or anything that kills Sacred Crane would destroy the Call the Haunted, and vice versa. And Call the Haunted would kill Sacred Crane. So I mean, if I was able to attack for 25, I could tribute for Jinzo next turn, and I mean my opponent would be at 600, which would be very likely to actually get the Megamorph. But obviously, I tributed Visor Shock or Sacred Crane with the assumption that it would go through, and that means if my opponent sets a monster, I could just tribute for Cyber Jar, and just blank the set, and just negate the set card. If my opponent just T-sets again on the next turn. Of course, this just didn't work out because I'm going to attempt the tribute summon of Visor Shock, and it doesn't work out. I couldn't do anything. I made a misplay here, but it didn't cost me. My opponent reminds me to set my set card, which is Heavy Storm, back to my hand. And what I did was pass with only the face-up Call the Haunted on the field. And this was a mistake because let's look at the opponent's graveyard. Opponent has a DD Warrior Lady, and opponent has a Skill Dark Magician. So that means Chaos Sorcerer is live. So if my opponent has a Chaos Sorcerer, I'll be at 19, and then I'll be vulnerable to Breaker. So, I mean, that's a realistic possibility. I mean, yeah, that's a realistic possibility. Or be severely reduced, or my life points would be severely reduced. So I think I should set the Heavy Storm. Yeah, BLS would also be BLS would also kill me much easier because you don't need to have like a strong beater. You just need to have something like a Dekoichi or a Sang. Well, there's no Sangan, but or a Gravekeeper Spy. I don't know if my opponent's. It's a flip word. Like, I don't know what he's particularly running, but yeah. I mean, yeah. Wait, yeah. Did I say Sangan? I mean, a Spy would be enough because 3,000 plus 1,200 is 42. So I think I should have set a card, which I didn't. He just summons Grandmaster Sasake. No, wait, he uses reinforcements to get that. That's a very odd card to keep in deck. I don't put many face-up monsters in defense mode. I think Blade Eye is better against me, simply because of the Cyberjar stuff. Oh, I just instantly, I just instantly used Snatch and then got Jinzo out and then went try to go for the kill shot. That's Karibo. I had to draw again. Opponent didn't need to summon a Sword Priest because Megamorph counts my life points. So it's not at 1,200, it's at 48. So Sword Priest is unnecessary. I guess I'll stop it here. Thanks. It's game 3. There's exchange. I draw, exchange. Obviously, I mean, I want to summon Cyberstein, so I could pick an appropriate fusion monster, depending on what my opponent has in his or her hand. So I want to summon Cyberstein, and then I want to give exchange because I think these other cards have some value in the blinds. I don't know what's in my opponent's hand, so I summon. I didn't play it. Well, I don't know. I mean, actually, I could have just activated the exchange right now, but for some reason I was so confused. Yeah, I wanted to give my opponent exchange, so show both cards. So show both our hands. My opponent, GyomberMan, just gave me the Heavy Storm. It's the most obvious choice. With his hand, I am blanking the Delinquent Duo. This is dead. If I want to get past the Smashing Ground, I'm forced to summon Dark Balter, and the Dark Balter to negate it by paying 1,000 life points. I mean, as a summary of how this duel progresses, my opponent played his cards perfectly. So I get Heavy Storm. One mistake that I made that I realized is that I set Heavy Storm. Of course, my opponent has Delinquent Duo, so he could pay 1,000 to get rid of it. But I have a Giant Trinade. So if I set Heavy Storm, if I activate it, these cards are gonna get destroyed. So So I have to use if if I use Heavy Storm first, all these cards will be destroyed. But if I use Giant Tornado first, while Heavy Storm is set, Heavy Storm goes back to my opponent's hand. So in this case, I think that I think that you want to keep Heavy Storm in your hand, even though your opponent would duo it. So to put it another way, the conclusion is that even though your opponent has Delinquent Duo, you should keep Heavy Storm in your hand because it is your opponent's Heavy Storm. And I summon Dark Balter, the Terrible, by paying 5,000 life points. Yeah, like I said, I think that's a mistake. I don't know if it really cost me anything. Opponent drew Tsukiyomi. Well, yeah. Opponent drew Tsukiyomi. I think that against Reasoning Gate decks, you should probably side it out, but he kept it for whatever reason, and it's useful for him in this case. He just used it to attack the Stein, maybe because it could be tribute fodder or whatever. I think not activating Scapegoat is perhaps the best decision. There's no reason to activate it. There's a Dust Tornado. My opponent uses Dust Tornado on Scapegoat. I decided not to activate Scapegoat because this card is set, and if we read Scapegoat, it says that you cannot summon. It uses the word summon, it doesn't say normal or special. So you can't flip summon. So I decided flip summoning it is the best option to put pressure on my opponent. I know my opponent drew. Did he draw DD Warrior Lady? Yeah. My opponent played around Dark Balter by summoning what's the name of that card again? By summoning Tsukiyomi. And I mean, I can't really respond, so I can't talk about any counterplay that I have. Summon Tsukiyomi and just use Metamorphosis. Obviously, my opponent didn't misplay by summoning a DD Warrior Lady and attacking this because of Dark Balter would negate the DD Warrior Lady. So I sort of revealed that because I don't know. I may be inclined to make that mistake. Yep. In order to, yeah, he used his Metamorphosis to get the level 4 to get Dark Flare Dragon. Is it a dragon? Dark Fire Dragon. Yeah. To use Dark Fire Dragon to attack this. Nope. Really useless. Yeah, I was disappointed enough to go use the phase buttons. Even though the only play I could use is use Snatch Shield, which I have to do because I can't let my opponent attack me. I could have. My opponent probably would have duoed me anyway if I had 2 cards. But at least I should have kept the. I mean, again, what happened? Maybe I would have set it so it wouldn't get duoed. He says he Warrior Lady. So obviously, summoning Icer Shock doesn't do much. It just send all these cards back. And I'll just attack for 800. So it's better to attack, obviously. Meh. 3 dead cards. Oh yeah, use Smashing Ground as a monster. I drew Monster Gate and I let him attack and just press surrender, admit defeat. Yeah, good games on his part. I mean, I didn't think I made any egregious errors. The the main error I made was, I think, activating swords, because if I kept it longer, I could have revealed the set DD Warrior Lady. Maybe, I don't know what I would have done, but activating swords when I had Sacred Crane with a United We Stand and the Dark Magician of Chaos wasn't a good play at all. The other thing that I would dwell upon is not setting Heavy Storm or setting a bluff before my opponent summoned the Grandmaster Sasake. I don't think it would affect the outcome of the duel, because my opponent would have. I think my opponent would just use reinforcements to get the Grandmaster Sasake, regardless of whether I had a set card or not. It's for the potentiality your opponent had a live Chaos monster, but yeah, that didn't affect the outcome. But it was a mistake on my part. I get more upset with mistakes than the actual outcome of the duel. So, and the last mistake that I made, that I think is a definitive mistake, is oh yeah, I think not keeping the stolen Heavy Storm, the purloined Heavy Storm that I took from exchange. And I think if we look at game 3, there was nothing I could have done that would have affected the outcome. I'll just play it through. Let's surrender again. Uh, yeah. Yeah, like my opponent. Good games to him. I haven't said so myself. Uh, oh, yeah. To continue on, I was thinking about the roll of luck. Let's say that I know for sure that my opponent is playing Skilled Dark Magician, and he would likely keep that card in his deck if he kept Grandmaster Sasake. It's better to draw Skilled Dark Magician than a Grandmaster Sasake, although I don't know how many warriors he has in his deck. I don't know what's the warrior package. But the point is that we know my opponent plays Skilled Dark Magician. So we just went through game 3, and he drew a Tsukiyomi, which put in a lot of work against my deck, and there was a bit of luck that made that a very extraordinary card, such as picking off the Scapegoat. But let's say he drew Skilled Dark Magician instead of Tsukiyomi. He would have summoned it, he would have ran over my Cyberstein, and I would lose 1100, and that would put me at 19. And if he summoned the Skull Dark Magician to attack, I would attack it with Balter. It would be face up, and yeah, it would be destroyed. And if he used Dust Tornado to destroy my set Scapegoat, it wouldn't have worked, because hmm, it wouldn't have worked because I could have just activated it, and I didn't need to flip Balter up. And in that case, then he would not be able to set my Dark Balter face down a second time, so it would not be vulnerable to Darkfire Dragon, and I would be able to pick off. I would be able to continue weakening my opponent. He would have had Karibo, which would have given an extra turn, but maybe the duel would have. I mean, if he drew Skilled Dark Magician, hypothetically, it's definitely within the realm of possibility, I would have the greater chance of winning. I don't know what subsequent other cards he would have drawn, but as we could tell, if all else being Ceteris Paribus, if he just drew Skilled Dark Magician instead of Ceteris Paribus, if he just drew Skilled Dark Magician instead of Tsukiyomi, I would have had control of the board, and he probably would not be able to consolidate board position because I could just he could either negate the Karibo, he could just negate an attack, or if he set Sinister Serpent, it would be destroyed in battle, and he can't recover it. And the Zaborg he drew would be dead. The sort of point for bringing that up is that there are many possibilities, and that is within the realm of possibility. There's no contradiction that he could have drawn to Tsukiyomi. It was within the realm of possibility. I guess the point for bringing that up is that there is luck in these games, and I lost, and because of a certain combination of cards, and I accept it. I don't care about the outcome as long as I play well, I guess. Thank you for making it this far. I hope you enjoy the video. Hope you enjoy my analysis. I want to play this clip because what Brian Berletic says also applies to this video and my channel as it currently stands right now.
Help support my work. I don't monetize my YouTube channel. If an ad pops up, feel free to skip it because it's not helping me out at all. If you do want to
well, I mean, again, thank you. As Nurse Joy says, after you've healed your Pokemon at the Pokemon Center, she always says to the trainer, we hope to see you again, and I hope to see you again. Best wishes. Have a wonderful day.